Okay, so I am getting ready to feed heavy again. This is our gigantic jalapenos plants. We have 4 of these total. You can see they're flowering in various spots. The garden has changed quite a bit, folks, since the last time I posted a video, and I think some of you will be surprised on how much growth there has been. But let's get into the garden and see what's going on. Okay, so we have the gigantic jalapenos. This is carrots that are coming along nicely. We've got some Spanish onions. These are 4 o'clocks, and these are really cool because my aunt has been growing these for over 20 years, and they've just interbred so much that when they bloom, the flowers are tie-dyed. So that ought to be interesting when those finally bloom. These are a bunch of random tomato plants. Here, most of them are the new chocolate spotted pears that we ordered from Baker's Creek Farm, or Baker's Creek Seed. And then we have a couple Hungarian ox hearts in here. My dad is actually needing some tomatoes, so I told him that he is more than welcome to take what he needs. And check this out, we've got some shamrock down here also. That's pretty cool. Here's the corn, and this is a 25-gallon fabric pot that I've got them in. We had a pretty gnarly windstorm, 2 of them actually, that came through, and it really did some damage to the corn. So I stood it back up, and you can see I tied it to a little stick there, a little piece of bamboo. Corn has a very shallow root zone, so they're knocked over pretty easy. This is a melon that we grew last year. I put some clover in there. I transplanted that as a cover crop. Now, interesting thing about clover, it will actually harvest the nitrogen out of the air and deliver it to the root zone. So it is called a nitrogen fixing plant. And these are starting to get the tendrils, so these will be taken off shortly. Here's our watermelons, just 2 of the plants that we have. And I can't think of the name off the top of my head. I always forget the name of these watermelons. It's black something. But if my wife or my daughter were out here, they'd be able to tell me. They'd probably laugh at me because they've told me 5 times already today. But they have a black rind on them, and they can get up to about 20 pounds. Typically, they stay around the 5 to 12 pound range, but they are growing great. I'm really, really excited about these. Let's see here. Here is 2 random Hungarian ox hearts that I put in here. They just started flowering. I hit them with a heavy dose of Herculean Harvest, and then I spiced it up a little bit with some Bloom Chaos. If you're unfamiliar with Bloom Chaos, here's what it does. So in an earlier video, I showed you how to grind up with a Ninja blender or something similar your top dress dry amendment, your organic amendments, and basically micronize that. Now when you mix that in the top inch or so of soil, and you let that sit there for 3 to 5 days, you know you have a good base of nutrients in your soil. So now you can start incorporating your Herculean Harvest, which is from a company called Nectar for the Gods, and your Bloom Chaos. The Bloom Chaos is a 0.5. So it has 0.5% of potassium. It is derived from kelp. And what it does is, that's why it's so important to load your soil and to water in with heavy phosphorus or heavy nitrogen, depending on the stage of the plant, nutrient. It forces your plant to eat regardless if it's hungry or not. So you can get some explosive growth because you have your soil stacked with your top dress dry amendment, and now you're adding Herculean Harvest, which is a 0.60 with 6% phosphorus, and it really causes your plants to explode in flower. Here is the strawberry that is still just trucking right along. Let's look in here a little bit and see if we can find anything. Yeah, we've got some strawberries in there forming. Oh, we've got a big one right here. Got some more flowers. Just wait for that one to turn red. Let's see what else. Oh, wow. We've got a whole bunch of them over here. Nice. And this is from the Dr. Earth tomato, vegetable, and herb, ground up in the Ninja Blender, mixed in the top 1 to 2 inches of soil, using microbes, of course. The Dr. Earth has microbes built into the amendment, and when you start using the Bloom Chaos, that Bloom Chaos and the Herculean Harvest, or any phosphorus for that matter that is readily available to the root zone, is what causes your strawberries to start blowing up with blooms and fruit. Let's look in this corner. Yeah, check it out. We've got them all over the place. Now, told you all in another video that this 50-gallon fabric pot here was going to be our potato pot. And our goal was 500 potatoes. I'm super interested in seeing how many potatoes we pull out of this thing. I'm hoping it's 500. If it's not, if it's a little shy, hey, we have 500 potatoes we can eat and we can give to other people. So that's a win-win. Praise the Lord that we've been able to get this far in our garden. This monster right here, let me see if I can get this in the screen. This is another 50-gallon fabric pot. And I think it's our Black Beauty zucchini. Yes, it is. But let me give you some sort of reference here on the size of these leaves. And this is not the biggest leaf by far. And I don't have small hands. I don't have huge hands, but I don't have small hands either. And you can see just how big these leaves are. They're soaking up a lot of sun. Now let's look in here and see what we got. Let's see if we can get a sneak peek. Okay, we've got a lot of flowers that may or may not have gotten pollinated. Pick some of this stuff off of here, deadhead it. I was told, no, I see one zucchini starting. See that one right there? Let me point to it. Right there. That's a baby zucchini. Now, if we go and look around, see if we can find any more. Oh yeah, there's one right there that doesn't look too healthy, probably because it's sitting on the soil, or either it's just so young. Oh, never mind. That was a flower that didn't quite, something happened. But yeah, that's a mulch. Now, we have one right here. We have another one right here that's forming well. Let's see if we've got that many right now. I'm pretty sure we should be able to find at least one or two more, but look at the stalk size on this thing. This is a beast. A super healthy plant. I use microbes on it about once every 2 to 4 weeks. And when I say microbes, just a very well balanced microbial inoculant. It really helps mine any nutrients that are in the soil and helps deliver those nutrients the best way possible to the root zone. So let's get a gander in here. Yep, there's another one. Hold on, let me see if I can get in here a little better. Okay, I don't want to snap anything. See it right there? There it is. So I've lost count, guys and gals. But as you can see, she's looking pretty good. Okay, so let's see what tomato we have here. Flowers all over it. This is the one tomato plant we have as of right now that does not have a lot of tomatoes on it, but it does have some. Oh, they had a super good deal on these from Burpee. When I bought these, the bugs are absolutely vicious today. There we go. Love Gormanson Sunrise. Beefsteak. It's a beefsteak variety. Cool. They should get a good size. I've had to stake these things up. These things have gone absolutely crazy on me with these windstorms that we've had as of recent. You can see I've got some extra poles down there to help me out. Now this particular tomato I'm about to show you, this thing has tomatoes all over it and they're fairly good sized already. This is a new variety that we're trying this year. See if I can reach over here and grab this tag. Yeah. I highly recommend this tomato to anyone that wants to grow just a healthy, good, indeterminate variety tomato that produces a lot. Just keep in mind two things that cause blossom end rot more than anything else, and that is infrequent watering habits and a lack thereof of calcium in your soil, or your pH is off in your soil and you can have a ton of calcium at that point in your soil. Your roots just cannot access it. So tomatoes like slightly acidic soils. So somewhere 6.8 to 6.2 is just about the sweet spot for your tomatoes. So it's Creole. Let me see if I can get the glare off of it here so you can get a good picture of it. There we go. It's a heat tolerant tomato. I do not use Miracle Grow. You can see it at the bottom there. Let me just do this. Boom. There we go. It's a heat tolerant indeterminate tomato. If we flip it over and check out the specs on the back. Full sun, of course. 36 inches apart. I've only got one of them. And, you know, that's all up for debate. What works for you works for you. If it isn't broke, don't fix it. That's something I can definitely, some advice I can give to a lot of people. Just make sure you're frequently watering, and make sure if you're using Dr. Earth, you're not going to have to worry about it. But if you're not using Dr. Earth as a top dress dry amendment, then make sure when you buy your top dress dry amendment, if that's what you end up using, that you have, at least 4.5 to 9% calcium in the mix. And you won't have a problem at all with calcium deficiency. Calcium, as I've said in prior videos, calcium forms the wall around each one of these cells in this leaf. So you can always tell when you're having a calcium deficiency, especially with a plant this size. And all of these tomato plants, I think the shortest one is 5 foot. Thank the Lord for such good growth this year through the storms. Amen. But if you run out of calcium or you have a deficiency, you'll see these little rusty looking spots start showing up all over your leaves. And I would love to be able to show you, but my soil is absolutely loaded with calcium. I say loaded. It's around 7.5%, 8%. And I force feed my plants to get them to grow this fast and to grow this size using the Bloom Chaos. But please, guys and gals, be sure, if you're using Bloom Chaos, make sure you have enough food in your soil prior to using it, and make sure you're using it along with Herculean Harvest, the Kraken, or Gaia Mania. Gaia Mania is a 151. The Kraken is a 040. So you have at least 4% phosphorus going into the plant when you're using Bloom Chaos at 1 tablespoon per gallon of water. Don't overdo it, because more is not always better. I promise. What'll happen is, if you don't have enough nutrients to cover what that Bloom Chaos forces the plant to do, which is eat, the plant will turn cannibalistic and start feeding on itself. And you definitely do not want that. So let's check out this one. This is a new variety also this year. I know it looks kind of crazy and wonky, but I grew a pink brandywine a couple years ago. Super juicy tomato. It was finicky, I won't lie. You had to dial your pH in. I didn't really care for that when it came to my tomato plants. But this one is a red brandywine, and this thing has been a breeze to grow. You can see the leaf structure on these is way different than your traditional tomato. This is producing a tomato that looks similar to your Cherokee Purple so far. But they get really big, really juicy. Super stoked about it. Check this out. So that right there, if you were to cut that off right here, and let's just say you kept this one little branch on here. Okay, that's it. And you cut it off up here, but you put this whole area under the soil, all of this would grow roots, and this one branch would turn into a tomato plant. Crazy, I know, but that's what would happen. And I just found a pest. Tell me if you guys know what this is. I want you to actually tell me in the comments if you know what this is. If I move the leaf, it's probably going to drop, but let's try it anyway. I'm glad this is on here so I can show you. Just kidding. It's not a pest. It sucked me out too, don't worry. It's actually just a curled up piece of a leaf, I think. Hold on. Let's double check that. I thought it was a... no, it's just a curled up piece of leaf. I thought it was a slug on the back side of the leaf there, but it was not. Thankfully, slugs will munch out in the night on your plants. And they're pests, they're big time pests, and they're difficult to get rid of, especially if you do not know it's a slug that's doing the damage. You'll try to kill everything else under the sun, and then you'll realize it's not everything else, it's just a snail. So, we've grown Better Boys before. Better Boys seem to always produce a lot of tomatoes for us, the way we feed and how much sunlight we're giving them. And they're great slicing tomatoes. They grow great. They're maintenance free for the most part, as long as you're giving them what they need to thrive. And this is the same with this one. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. Okay, so we have this one back here. I don't think I've gone over this one yet. But this one, I think I did just go over this one, but we're going to do it again if I didn't. Let's see here. This one, yeah, that was the beefsteak variety. My bad. Okay, so these two tomatoes right here, you can see I just kind of let them do their thing, and they looked all kind of wonky on me for a minute. But now I've got some bamboo in there, and they should start straightening up, but they're flowering like crazy. They should start producing soon. Did something a little different this year. Put 2 tomato plants in each pot, except for these bigger ones that are in 7-gallon fabric pots. And that's another reason why they've grown so big, is because the root zone can breathe. They have access to so much more oxygen. It's unreal. Compared to the plastic pot. Not knocking the plant, just don't really dig plastic pots all that much. And once again, to each their own. If it isn't broke, don't fix it. This is a 4-gallon plastic pot. I guarantee you, the way I feed and apply microbial inoculants, guarantee you this plant is root bound already, which means there's all kinds of circling going on below the surface of the soil. The same with this one. Now keep this visual here. Other than this one little sprig right here, these plants are basically the same height, right at 5 foot. Now you come over here to these 2 plants, which is the red brandywine, and these are only going to continue to get taller. Much larger, much more robust, much broader. Especially this one. This one's gone cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. But that's fabric pots for you. They allow more aeration to the root zone, which in turn allows for the plant to grow more efficiently, mine the nutrients better with the use of microbes, and it's a win-win. So this windstorm that just came through kind of aggravated me a little bit. My raspberry bush was doing amazing. It still is. But man, it looked like it had a really bad hair day the next morning. And I've got something munching on my raspberry bush, and I'm not digging it at all. So I'm about to do some organic IPM, some pest management. That right there, I don't like that, because that, if left unchecked, can turn into you coming out here one day and you've only got like 3 leaves left on your plant. And nobody wants that. After you turned a literal stick, which is this stick right here. See that stick right there? Yeah. When I bought this plant, that's all I got. And I know when I planted it, some people thought to themselves, what's he doing? Is he growing sticks this year? No, I turned that stick into that. Well, I didn't. The good Lord did. But I just wanted to show you what a bare root plant could do that just looks like a stick. So this is a sunflower that we had 2 in here. The windstorm snapped it off right there, and as you can see, that's as big around as my thumb, pretty much. The blueberry bush. Remember that scraggly little blueberry I had? Well, say hello to the new and improved blueberry. She's got blueberries all over her. They may look like they're ready, but I promise you they are not ready yet. They're still going to be a little tart, and I'm so looking forward to getting that. This is, Black Diamond. That's the name of the watermelon. It just came to me. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 more Black Diamonds in that pot. That is a 20-gallon plastic pot. This is a 15-gallon fabric pot. This is a 10-gallon plastic pot that we have. What tomatoes in this pot right here? Do you remember? Okay, my wife came out and I thought I would ask her real quick, but she does not remember, so I'm going to go with the Hungarian ox heart. I'm 99.9% sure about that. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4 in there, just because I haven't grown this variety yet, and I wanted to see what was good for it and what wasn't. Okay, moving on. We've got, in a 7-gallon fabric pot, we've got a cucumber, habaneros, that the tendrils from this cucumber right here has latched onto for dear life, and I'm going to have to fix that, or it's going to engulf my habanero or my reaper plants. Just some rogue tomatoes that we've got going on here. A couple more tomatoes with some more shamrock, and check it out, we've got 2 more gigantic jalapenos. The Weeping Yoshino cherry that I saved 3 years ago. I should have trimmed it up in the fall, but I did not. So don't judge me too harshly on that, please. Let's see here. Oh, let me show you the wandering Jew we've got in the backyard. She's actually turned out to be really beautiful this year. Now that is a beautiful plant. Very low light requiring, very low maintenance. Just a beautiful plant. The back sides of the leaves are that beautiful magenta purple color. And we have a Canaan from harvested seed from 2 years ago that I put in the soil this year, and it's just not really doing it yet. I don't know what's up with it, but hey, maybe I hit it with some microbials and maybe it shoots up. But now that you've seen everything, I'm going to hit it with a heavy dose of stuff tonight. Hurt and Bloom Chaos. It's got the top dress already in it. I'm using a silica tonight also. I'm using the Bloom Chaos to push all that into the plant to force the plant to take it up. So we'll come back in a few days, see what's going on with the plants, and see how this heavy feeding has changed them. And these are my tallest sunflowers right now. Guys, thanks for watching. If you have enjoyed the content, please like, share, and subscribe. It takes me a minute to really get in here and get this content ready for you guys, and I would just absolutely love it if you would just at least hit the like button. If you can find time to do that, that's amazing. If you could share it, that's even better. And if you could subscribe, that's awesome. Until next time, everyone, thank you for watching. God bless always. Happy growing.